Cool.
Yeah, bro. So, I just wanted to take your interview in regards to like, how things for you so far, and just wanted to like learn how exactly, you do business, as well as like, all the consultations we provide, like that. So, I've written down like all the questions for you. Like it's only like I would say
Okay.
maximum 6 questions that I would love to learn from you. First thing is, bro, like, if you can, introduce yourself, like how are you currently doing, and where were you back then, like when we started working together. I would say like we are working for more than a year now. I don't remember, but I'm pretty
Yeah, it's been
sure.
a while.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, bro, I just wanted to like learn more about your experience, like how's everything so far for you. And yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll start from the very beginning. So,
Yeah.
from the very beginning, when I hired you and your team, I didn't know what to expect because I never tried this kind of marketing before. And so,
Yeah.
but in business, hey, you want to be successful, you got to take a risk. And this is a risk I was willing to take. And I'm glad that I did. So as soon as I hired you guys, I created the ad. It went, I think it went up within like 24 to
Wow.
48 hours. It was pretty quick. So the
Huh.
ad went up, and then I started to get leads, and I made my money back. I made my investment back within like 72 hours, like no joke. And so right then and there, I knew from that first deal, I was like, okay, like this is a gold mine. So, and kind of through there, man, we have just been, as far as my experience, the communication is great with you and your
Hmm.
team. I'm always, sending you new ideas. You're giving me new
For
ideas.
sure, bro.
Create all the content, which I love because I like, for me, I like being in control as far as what the
Uh-huh.
content is put out.
Hmm.
Um, and then what happens, what happens when we get a lead, they go directly to our DM. Now, that is a prospect, right? So me personally, I don't consider that to be a full-fledged lead just yet, right? Because they're just contacting you saying, hey, I'm interested, schedule
Yeah.
my free consultation.
Hmm.
It is up to me at that point to answer back and say, hi, what's going on with your credit? So typically, my first response
Hmm.
when I message them back is, usually on Instagram, it'll say their name, like at the very top. If you pay attention, you'll see whatever their name is. So I'm like, hey, Michelle, this is Robert. What's going on with your credit? And something simple, just like that, just one sentence. What's going on with your credit? Try to, and,
Yep.
and I do that because I try to keep it very personal.
Yep.
And then once I answer back and I say, hey, what's going on with your credit? Typically, that person will say, oh, I got 3 collections, or I have a late payment. Again, they
Hmm.
start telling you specifically what's going on with their credit. So now it creates a dialogue. And so my rule is I have to ask them at least 3 questions. The reason why I ask them 3 questions is because if you just right off the bat say, hey, what's your phone number? Let's talk on the phone.
Yeah.
You got to remember that this is Instagram and Facebook. There's a lot of scams going on. A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people are not willing to give out their email, their phone number, or any information until they feel like they know that you are a real person
Hmm.
that actually cares and that really wants to help them and that you're legitimate and you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So my rule is 3 questions. So after, uh, again, I ask them what's going on with your credit. They'll say, oh, I have 3 collections. Typically, my next question is, how long have those collections been on your credit? Sometimes the person knows,
Hmm.
sometimes they don't. It's not necessarily about the answer. The answer that they give you is important, but it's
Yeah.
more, again, about creating that dialogue, right? Now you
And
got a real
engaging with them.
conversation. Yeah, and the other person, the prospect, right?
Hmm.
They know that it's not some automated kind of,
Yeah.
a robot on the other line,
Yeah.
because you're asking them questions based on what their answers are.
Yep.
So the next question is something like, hey, what's motivating you to fix your credit? Are you trying to buy a house, trying to buy a car? Now, by asking them that type of question, and now it becomes emotional, right?
Emotional.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah, because if their motivation is to buy a house,
Hmm.
now they're not just thinking about buying a house, they're thinking about their kids, the backyard, the family parties, the barbecues, all that fun stuff, right? Well, that's not going to happen if they don't get their credit fixed. So this is pretty much what this is what I call a pain point, right?
Pain point, yeah.
So, and that's something that in any kind of sales, I don't care what you do, sales a lot of times is an emotional thing.
Yeah.
So if you can bring that emotion out, people understand that they want to fix their credit, but we don't need to sell them. At the end of the day, we just need for them to admit that they need to fix their credit because that's what they want to do, not because we want to sell them. So by asking them those type of questions, it really, again, it at that point, it sets them up to where they're selling themselves on why they need to repair their credit. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah. Definitely, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely, it makes sense. Yeah.
So,
And like,
so yeah, man, after I ask them those three questions,
yeah,
again, I'm creating a dialogue.
yeah,
And then when I feel that there's a real conversation going back and forth,
yeah,
then I'm like, hey, what's your phone number? It's now a good time for you to talk. And for me, I feel like it's really important for us as salespeople, as credit repair specialists, you got to strike when it's hot, right? Try not to set up an appointment for 3-4 hours later. Why? Because that person's probably at work in the middle of the day. They probably got to pick up their kids. They're talking to you now. They're taking time out of their day to talk to you about what you can do and try to give you an opportunity. So, be respectful to that and try to set up that appointment right then and there. Now, if they can't do it, that's understandable, but you want to strike while it's hot. The best lead that you could get is a live one.
Yeah, bro. That's the fact, like whenever I even, try to talk with any prospect, it's like, they bite quickly if they are setting up the call for like next 30 minutes or like 40 minutes. Just because, like after that, it's like, people just forget like, what they signed up for or something like that. But yeah, bro, that's kind of a golden nugget. Like you can just call them right away and try to close that deal as soon as possible like that. And yeah, bro, like, as far as your like, sales process, like whenever you take them on the call, like, do you have your own sales script or like, how do you engage them on the call, like on the consultation call?
Yeah. So I do have a sales script, but one thing that you have to keep in mind is that credit repair is not like a one size fits all. Everyone's credit situation is different, right? So you might have someone that has a bankruptcy, somebody else only has late payments. I've had people where they only have inquiries, like they actually have good credit, but they got a bunch of inquiries. On the flip side, you have the other person that has 3 repossessions and God knows what else, right? So using a sales script is good, but I think it's really important to focus on having a real conversation with them. You do have to drop some knowledge because again, they want to know that you are knowledgeable and you know about credit. So typically this is kind of what the conversation would sound like, right? So I call them, they give me their phone number. Hey, Michelle, this is Robert with Quick Tax and Credit. We were just talking on the through text. You had mentioned that you have 3 collections. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Again, even though we've already talked a little bit about it, you got to keep in mind, now they're actually hearing your voice. So again, continue with creating that dialogue, right? Because you can sit there and talk all you want, but if they're not participating in that conversation, you don't know what the heck they're doing. They could be putting the phone down and have you on speaker and cleaning the kitchen, right? So it's important to make sure that you ask them questions, keep them engaged in the conversation. And then once you do that, then I'm like, hey, it's important for us to look at all 3 of the credit bureaus, and I asked them, what are you using? Like what credit monitor are you using? And a lot of people are using Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, things like that. Well, I tell them, hey, first of all, I don't like to bash any company. I don't care what happened, right? Because you bash a company, it actually makes you look bad, not them look bad. So it's important to stay away from that. So in my opinion, so I tell them, hey, Credit Karma is not bad. Credit Sesame is not bad. But the problem is they only show you TransUnion and Equifax. They don't show you all 3 of the credit bureaus. So, that, and I always tell them, that's why you notice even on Credit Karma, a lot of times your credit scores are different from one bureau to the next. And why is that? It's because you may have a collection that's on one bureau that may not be on the other. And that's why the scores are different, because the information generated on each of the bureaus definitely are different. So you got to look at all three credit bureaus side by side to compare how many collections you have on each of the bureaus, how many late payments, how many inquiries. All of this is really important because, Michelle, you told me you want to fix your credit, but I know you don't want to just fix Equifax, right? You want to fix Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So the company that we recommend is called Identity IQ. Have you ever had an account with Identity IQ? And again, I specifically asked them that. It's a simple question, but again, keeping them engaged, right? Have you ever had an account with Identity IQ? Most of the time, they're going to say, no, I've never heard of them. Well, hey, it's just like Credit Karma, no different. They're just a lot better and a lot more thorough on the report. So when we hang up, I'm going to send you this link. It'll take you about 5 minutes, probably less. So set this up, text me the login information. Once you text me the login information, what I would want you to do is log in to Identity IQ, whether it be on your phone or whether it be on your computer. That's fine. But I want you to be able to look at the report, because I'm going to log in on my computer, and then you and we're going to literally go through the credit report together so we can see exactly what's going on with your credit. And so that's the first initial call. That call right there should not take more than maybe 10 to 15 minutes. If you're on that call more than 15 minutes, either you're talking too much or that person is talking too much. Get to the point, because at the end of the day, again, if they're willing to log into Identity IQ, create an account, and it costs them $1, right?
Yeah.
So logically behind that, $1 is not a lot of money, right? But if that person is willing to commit and put in their social, put in their personal information, right? And then take their debit card and pay $1. If they put it this way, if they're not willing to pay $1, they're not going to pay you for credit repair services. That's how you know that they're serious. So you got to get them to do the Identity IQ so you can give them more details.
Yeah. Basically, we just need like a basic commitment from them, just to see if they even qualify for the things like that. And yeah, bro, you just get out of that phone and you send them the Identity IQ link, and then they send you all the reports and everything. And after that, you just take the payment. That's how it works for you, with the sales wise.
Correct. So I go through just like I mentioned, I go through the credit report line by line with them, because let's face the facts that most people put off fixing their credit because multiple reasons, but because they look at the credit report and they get intimidated, they get discouraged. They don't know how to read a credit report. They don't know, really what to look for. And on top of that, they don't know how to fix it, right? So if you're taking your time walking them through the report, that shows them that, number one, you know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about. And number two, it shows that you actually care, because this consultation on average takes about 30 to 45 minutes. So that means that you're taking time out of your day to help them, and not just help them, but you're also educating them at the same time, because you're pointing out things that they would not know if it weren't for you. And so most credit repair professionals are not going to do that. What they're going to do is they're going to say, oh, you have 10 collections and blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's $200 to sign up today and let's get you started. There's no education. There's no value in that. So again, people do business with people that they like, know, and trust. So that is your ultimate goal. And your key throughout this consultation is not to sell them, but to continuously educate them. If you educate them and get them more information that they didn't know, they're going to feel that you have something to value. And if you have something to value, they know that you're only giving them a portion of what you know, and they want more of it. So if they want more of it, that's how you get them.
And that's how you build the trust and rapport. And they actually see you as a authentic figure, where basically, they know that this guy is legit, and he's he really knows that what he's talking about. So quick doubt, bro. Basically you actually walk them through the Identity IQ right there, when they're on the call, or when you get off the phone, like that. So you are basically talking with them on the call, and then you are actually going through their credit report. Is that the thing you're doing?
Yeah. So so right before I got on this call right now, I was just on a consultation. And so the lady did not have a computer. And so I said, hey, don't worry about it. Go to Identity IQ, log back in, pull it up on your phone. And then I'm looking at it on my computer. And as I'm looking at it through my computer, I'm telling her, hey, scroll down to this. Do you see that? And so that's important, right? Because if you're telling someone to log into something and you don't know if they're really doing it, well, one way for you to confirm, if they're really on it or not, is ask them, do you see that? Do you see the bottom line? What does that say? And then they'll repeat it. So now they're actually, they're invested, right? They're actually participating with you. And so the more attention it's about grabbing their attention. And so you just literally walk them through it line by line. It's time consuming, but just know that your closing rate, no exaggeration. My closing rate is probably about 90 to 95%.
For sure.
Because I take my time and actually go through the consultations this way.
For sure, bro. For sure. Like, I would say, like, you would be like, one of our top client who is like, closing like two to three, like, deals a day, or I would say like more than that. So, it's been crazy. We are only spending like $40 to $50. And, if you are closing like 3 deals or 4 deals a day, that's like crazy thing. But yeah, bro, that's the reason, like, I really wanted to take your interview just to like learn, like, how exactly you do sales. Of course, you are doing different. That's why you're closing so many, like clients. And I would say, like, you are actually having the impact. And just by, having an interview, bro, like I'm also learning so much things about like, sales as well as like, other stuff like that. One last thing with the sales, bro, like how do you like, tackle objections? Like if you see like a client is asking like, if he's saying like, I can't afford it, or like, there are so many like credit repair companies that are doing scams and other stuff. Like, how do you actually handle that stuff? Like, if you get any objections, like, how do you tackle that thing?
Okay. So one thing about me personally is I never let money be an issue, right? Meaning, let's say, for example, I charge someone $1,000, right? They can't afford to pay the $1,000 up front. The first thing I do is when I go for the close, I'm like, hey, well, let me rewind for a second. So when we're dealing with sales, right? Everyone wants to feel like they're winning when they buy something, right? They want to feel like, oh man, like I actually got a big discount, like that was a great feeling. So in my opinion, you never just want to throw out a price. Oh, it's $200, it's $1,000, right? There's no incentive for that, right?
Yeah.
So typically what I do is I tell them, hey, normally we charge $1,500, but because we're running a promotion right now, we're going to give you 50% off of what we would normally charge. Now, mind you, you have $25,000 in debt. You have 15 collections. You have 37 inquiries that we're going to be working on. The normal price for something like this is $1,500, but by giving you this 50% discount, that's a significant benefit to you because now you're only paying $750, right?
Yep.
So think about that for a second. If I would have just came out and said, hey, Michelle, you're only going to pay $750 for your credit repair. That's it, right? Just leave it at that. Or I could have said, hey, Michelle, normally it's $1,500, but because you're a single mom and we're running this promotion, we're going to give you 50% off what we would normally charge. And now you're only paying $750. I said the same thing, but it's different, right? So you always want to make the client feel good, like they're winning. And that gives them incentive because they don't know how long this promotion is going to last. So, it kind of, it creates that urgency without being a pushy salesperson. It makes them feel like you're doing them a favor, right? So that's how I present the close. Now, the next thing is I say, hey, typically our clients pay a one-time payment of $750 because they just want to pay one time and get it over with. Most people don't want to pay, $99 a month forever, right? That'll save you a lot of money by doing it our way. So are you able to pay the $750 at one time and just join our program? And I stay quiet. You don't answer. You don't say anything else. You have to let them answer. So then let them decide if they can pay the $750 at one time. If they say, no, I can't, I can't do the $750 at one time. I don't get paid till next week. Well, hey, no problem. I know you're serious about repairing your credit because, again, you told me you want to buy this house and get this moving. And obviously, we want to make this happen for you. What can you afford to put down today? And so I let them throw out a number because now I'm not creating a number for them. Now it's up to them. So they create a number. Now, don't get me wrong. With me, typically what I try to do is I say, hey, you know, you could break up that 750 into 3 easy payments of 250. Are you able to do that? If they can't do that, then again, you keep going down. But you also got to be careful with, you know, except like if somebody says, hey, I can only pay you $50, I don't want a client like that. I don't want to. I'd rather not. You know why? Because if you're only paying me $50 today, then you know what? I'm probably going to chase you $50 every 2 weeks just so you can pay. And now just because it becomes an accounting nightmare, and that's not the kind of client you want, because either they're not financially ready to start the credit repair program, or they're just not committed.
That's
so you
true,
have
bro.
to decide as a professional what makes sense to you and what kind of clientele do you want. I would rather have clients that, you know, pay 3 payments of 250 than have clients that pay $50 every week. I don't want to do it.
And it's like, you know, like whenever you attract like cheap clients, bro, like, you know, it's like they're always going to, you know, like spread around the negativity. And, you know, they're always going to be like, you know, hey, I didn't got this or that, you know, in terms of like results. And, you know, they're always going to be affected to you just because, you know, like they have a low mentality when it comes to like, you know, money and other stuff. So it's like, you know, it's better to not let them, you know, get on board. So
you have to price it correctly, because if not, you can actually do a disservice and devalue your services, right? Because if you're only charging them $50, $100 a month, then they can get that anywhere, right? So, you know, you have to bring value. This is what I'm saying. Everything that you do has to bring value. Take time and go through the consultation, because at the end, when you hit them with that $750 number or $1,000 number, I mean, it could be $1,500, but you built up so much value from the very beginning that $1,000 is not a lot of money. And let's look at it like this. If you're scared to charge someone $1,000 for credit repair, do you understand that when they buy the house, how much money they're saving on interest and on their monthly mortgage? $1,000 is a fraction. It's a penny of the amount of money that they're going to be saving. And if they can't understand that, then maybe that's just not the client for you.
Fact, bro. Fact, man. For sure, bro. Very last question, bro, is like, you know, very last thing, like how, like, do you have any follow-up process you do? Let's say, you know, if you want to follow up with someone, like, how do you follow up with them? Like with all the clients, let's say if they say like, you know, if they want to sign up like next Friday or anything. So do you have any follow-up systems you do, or like how?
So anytime that I get a lead, and what I consider to be a lead, my definition of a lead is when I actually have a phone number and I talk to them, right? Because I have had it where somebody would DM me their phone number. I call them literally 2 minutes later and they never pick up the phone ever, like even days later. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? So you can't control that. So for me, I don't really consider that a lead, in my opinion, right? It's a lead when I talk to them. So once I talk to them, then what I do is I have a CRM. Most credit repair professionals have a CRM, so use it. So I keep it out in our CRM, but I also have a spreadsheet that I have. So in the spreadsheet, I can write notes, I keep dates, stuff like that. So
I've seen that.
I've sent you screenshots. So that's something that really does help me stay organized, and I have it color coordinated. So for me, for example, like if I see that one of my leads are in yellow, then that means that I've already sent them the link for Identity IQ, and now I just need to close the deal. So those are warmer leads. If they're highlighted green, that means money. You know, I sold them. If I highlighted them red, that means that they were no good for whatever reason. And I keep notes of it. So, but it is good to make sure that you keep all of their emails for the deals that you didn't close, because now you can create an email campaign following up with them. So you never know, that can turn in, if you send 1,000 emails, right? And you get one sale out of that, it's worth it. How long did it take you to create that email? How long did it take you to send
Yeah.
those emails? So, you got to be able to put in the time.
Yeah, bro. Like even for us, like, I basically follow up with all the clients we have, like, who actually told me that they are going to sign up at least like, 20 times I touch base. I don't remember like how much time I followed up with you. I would say like 15 to
You
20.
followed up with me like a million times, and then but you know what? What's funny is, and I told you this before, as a salesperson, I'm like, man, this guy's persistent. Like, I actually admired it. Like, I didn't feel like you were bothering me, and the
Yeah.
way you did it also was, it wasn't, it actually wasn't aggressive. Like, I felt it wasn't aggressive,
I was sending you
and you knew
screenshots.
that you had something of value,
Yeah.
and you really were persistent about it. And I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? This guy must be the real deal. Let me try it. And so I'm glad that you are persistent, because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, like they say, the sale is usually in the follow up.
Yeah. It's like for me as well, like, like I'm doing a disservice if I'm not able to sell my services to anyone. And I really believe with what we do is, that I'm really like, we are really consistent with all the results we are providing for our clients. So for us as well, bro, we really believe in what we do, and we are just putting in like a lot of time and efforts with things. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we actually follow with all the clients, and not just for the money purpose. We just really want to be a pioneer in like helping like credit repair consultants, and to make sure that everyone is getting taken care of, because there are so many credit repair consultants that are like really struggling right now. And like some of my clients actually had some issues with the sales. So that's why I reached out to you yesterday, that please get on with me on the interview. And bro, like the value you're providing, it's fire, man,
Yeah.
for sure, bro. It's
I
definitely
love
going
I
to
love
help.
it,
Like,
man. I love it. And any questions you have, I'm always, we
yeah,
are
bro,
one team. We're here to help.
for sure, man, for sure. I got like everything done from as far as like all the questions I had for you. But yeah, man, it's been a wonderful experience just by working with you. And we're gonna have call like next week. I have like a crazy strategy for you to scale your business up more, just because we just don't want to stay like five, like 3 4 5 deals a day. And guys,
Yeah.
just wanted to like talk about like Robert. He's a client of mine for more than a year now, I would say. And we've been working very closely with all the things we do. And I usually suggest him all the strategies, and he usually come up with that like new innovative ideas as well. He's been consistently closing like minimum 2 to 3 deals a day so far. That's how like we are projecting all the things. And yeah, we have a good strategy in place right now that's definitely going to help with the all the ad spend we are doing. But yeah, bro, keep killing it with
Yeah.
all the stuff you're doing. And I'm glad that you're very successful with what you do. Just because you're very good at sales, and you really give a shit about the another client or another people who are working
Yeah.
with you. So that's a big part. It's not just about like making money, but it's all about like making the impact in the industry. And so that people will see you as an authority figure compared to just like anybody like who is just trying to sell the things. But yeah,
Also,
bro.
I want to add
Yeah.
something that's really important too, is that, you and your team do an amazing job, but it's also, us as credit repair professionals, people, when they go to your Instagram and your Facebook, right? They
Yeah.
want to know that you're a real person. So the content that you put out, not the ads are important, but the
Yeah.
content that you put out on a daily basis
Yeah.
is very important, because
Important.
if they see a great ad, right? They love the
Yeah.
ad, they click on it, but then they go to your page
Yeah.
and you have 10 posts in the last year, and none of it's about credit, for example. They don't even, they're going to think that you're a scam, So post about credit. And when you post, I'm not big on posting about prices, because the moment that you post price, people are already thinking about how they cannot afford it, right?
Got it. Yeah.
So, and again, there's no value in that. So I would highly recommend continue to post about education, how to build your credit score, what credit cards are good, what happens if you pay a collection, how long does a collection stay on your credit. These are
Yeah.
all questions that you may already have the answers to, but you got
Yeah.
to remember, you're the professional. Your
Yeah.
audience, they don't know a quarter of what you know.
Yeah.
So it's important for you to speak to your audience and educate them. Focus on being an educator rather than a salesperson. And the moment that you change to that kind of mindset and you display that on your social media, that's going to magnify the ads and help you convert. So don't just depend on Harshal and his team. You do have to put a little bit of work on your end as well, because that's only going to benefit you.
Yeah, bro. Like, there were some clients like in the past where they used to say like, leads are like bad quality, or like, leads are shit and things like that. But we used to tell them like, how would that would not work for you, just because, like we have so many clients that they are actually getting the high quality inquiries as well as they're trying to close. So, just to fill in that gap, that's why I tried to like, create a new videos, but it didn't work just because, we did our part, of course, just to like, get them inquiries and stuff like that. But yeah, like, whoever is watching this video, guys, make sure like whenever we try to send you inquiries, just make sure to call them as soon as possible and just follow what Rob said, in the sales process. And definitely you're going to win, just because, Rob is like killing it right now. So yeah, whenever we send you the inquiries, guys, please make sure to call them as soon as possible and try to educate them instead of just pitching your services and like, pitching your prices. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say in terms of that. So any last thing, bro?
No, that's it, man. I'm glad I was able to help. And if you need anything else, I'm only a phone call away, brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks, bro. Like, all the things you're doing, I'm very happy. And yeah, man, everything is kind of good, bro. With you, I would say like, whenever we started working with you, like 1 year ago, like we only had like 10 to 15 clients at a time. And now, like we are at a good point where we have like close to 54 or 55 clients. Nice. Still growing strong, but yeah, like at that time, like, it was a point where, we were not making that much money. But right now it's all about like, helping all the clients we have and providing them value, just because we have a mindset where, if we can provide our clients the return on investment, they're going to stick with us forever. And they're also going to impact with, all the things they do. And of course, we can also impact in their lives by making them more money, and yeah, like, that's the most important thing I would say. Like, when it comes to finance, like making more money is most important thing. So yeah, bro.
Absolutely, man. And like, just to give you an update. So today's Thursday. I closed the deal this morning. And then yesterday I closed 3. Yesterday was Wednesday. So I closed 3 deals Monday, 3 deals Tuesday, and 3 deals yesterday. So got 9 deals for the week, not including the one this morning. So that's 10. And then I got a couple of leads that I'm working on. So my personal goal is always minimum 10 deals a week. If I do 10 deals a week at, let's say, $750, that's $7,500 in a week. Now, keep in mind, not everyone's going to pay the $750 all at one time, right? But you still have that money coming in, even if you break it up into payments. So focus on volume. Don't focus on, oh, well, he can't pay the $750 or whatever that amount is, so I'm going to let him go. Make your money where you can. Focus on helping people.
Yeah. And one more last thing, like, guys, if you want to, do something like Rob is doing, which is like, closing like 2 to 3 deals at least a day, you need to spend more money, in order to attract more inquiries and more leads. So just focus on spending more money. For Rob, we are currently spending on like $50 to $60 a day, I feel. And we are about to the pace where basically next month we're going to double that. At least, we're going to spend like $100 to $120 just to make sure, we're closing like 4 or 5 deals a day. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get there ASAP. Bro, build a good, strong team there. We are here for you, and, we'll make sure to, get you all the inquiries, and you know what, we can just scale it up. So yeah.
Sounds good, brother. Hey, you have a blessed and productive day. And again, if you need anything, I'm already here.
Yes, sir.
You. Anytime.
Thanks, my bro. All good.
All right.
See you soon, bro.
Talk to you later,
Adios.
Bro. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.